Welcome back to the Sovereign Ratio. With Bitcoin breaching the $1 trillion market cap mark, I started to think about historical snapshots and how we can use historical market cap data to better predict the type of gains that crypto, Bitcoin, and altcoins can see in this upcoming bull run, especially when you're pairing this data along with total token and max supply along with the historical snapshot. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, leave me a comment below, and follow me on Twitter for more updates. Before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to Whalekiller for hitting 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's a big stepping stone on YouTube. Our growth the last couple of months has been really good, and we're inching up on that 1,000 mark as well. Currently sitting at 628. I think about a month ago we were sitting just under 500, so I appreciate everybody's subscriptions. Please push this channel. Please send it to your friends and do whatever you can to promote it. The quicker that you hit the like button, the quicker you leave a comment on every video, the quicker YouTube will get me further into the algorithm, thus giving me more views. But back to our original thoughts here, Bitcoin just surpassed a $1 trillion market cap, which, can you even imagine $1 trillion? That's so much money. You know, the biggest asset managers in the world have somewhere between like $15–16 trillion from what I understand. Like BlackRock controls $15–17 trillion in assets. $1 trillion is just a crazy amount of money, and it's weird to think about something that, you know, at one point in time somebody bought a pizza with 1,000 Bitcoin when it was worth almost nothing to what it's become today. It's just been this exponential millions of percentage growth. And you can actually see on Infinite Market Cap here, the website is 8marketcap.com. There's a comparison here between Bitcoin and every other asset that has a large market cap. You can see gold is here at 13 trillion, Microsoft at 3 trillion, Apple at right under 3 trillion. You got Nvidia up here, Google, Amazon, silver. At one point during the last bull cycle, Bitcoin actually surpassed the entire market cap of silver, currently sitting at 1.2 trillion, and it looks like it's getting ready to do that again for sure in this next bull cycle. Will it overtake gold? I don't think so, but I could definitely see Bitcoin coming up here and challenging Nvidia at its market cap, and maybe even Apple at its market cap. It just depends how parabolic this bull run goes, but it's interesting to see how the market cap has progressed over the years, and Bitcoin being the 10th most valuable asset in the world. In fact, just for fun, I pulled up the Bitcoin market cap here in TradingView and put it on a logarithmic scale, so it's a little bit easier to digest. But back here, this data only goes back to 2014. Now, Bitcoin is much older than that, and it was at a much, much lower price. If you were to run this data from all the way back to Genesis to now, it's millions and millions and millions of percent gain. But just here from 2015 on this little wick that we had back on the market cap, Bitcoin has gone up 48,161% to its current valuation. That's incredible to think about. It's a 482x since 2015. Imagine picking up Bitcoin in 2015, even just one, how much money you would have today. It's crazy. It's an exponential huge gain. So that brings me to the real point that I was looking to make today. Bitcoin surpassing $1 trillion market cap inspired me to do a video on historical snapshots. If you don't know what that is, if you go to coinmarketcap.com, which is one of the best sites to go to look at market caps and total volumes and unlocked percentages and all of that stuff, right here on the top, you go into cryptocurrencies, and there's a part right down here where you can choose called historical snapshots. And what we can do with this information is go back to any point in time from 2013 to now on a weekly basis. It's not every day, but there's one snapshot taken every week to see what the market cap was, what the top 100 coins were, the top 20 coins, whatever. You can look at anything that's available here, which I believe there's several hundred coins available in the snapshot. So let's just scroll back down here to pick one randomly. Actually, let's not do it randomly. Let's go to right before the last halving. So the last halving was in May of 2020. Let's go to like March. Let's go to the COVID dump. So right here, we have a March 15th snapshot. You can see everything by market cap. Bitcoin at that time was at a $98 billion market cap. Ethereum was at a $13 billion market cap. And then you can scroll through and see all these coins and what rank they were, what their market cap was, what the circulating supply was. And the reason that this is useful is when we're looking at altcoins now saying, what do I think the potential for this altcoin is in the next cycle? Well, most people are going to say, well, it's at least going to go to its all-time high, right? Or it's going to go way past its all-time high. Well, that's an easy assumption to make, but there's one caveat to that. What is the circulating supply? If the circulating supply has increased tremendously since then, that might not be as easy to get to all-time highs as you might think it would be. Now I'm going to simply reference a coin that I did a video on about 6 months ago that I still believe in for this cycle, but my view on how much I want to allocate towards it has changed a little bit, and that's Filecoin. If we look at Filecoin, you would immediately think, well, it's a top 100 project. It's sitting at $5.60, and its previous all-time high was $237. That's an incredible gain to the tune of 3,887%. And then most tokens in a bull run, generally they go to their 1618 or their 2618 at least. So this thing has potential to do something even crazier, like a 62x or whatever's up here, a 90x or whatever. But the problem with that is what we need to find is what the circulating supply of Filecoin was on March 29th, 2021. So how do we do that? Well, very simple. We just go back to where we were, go back, we look for 2021, March 28th. You can see Filecoin was ranked 16 and the circulating supply was 61,492,941 Filecoin. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab this right here, save that for just a second, and then we're going to go to current data. So we go back up to the top on CoinMarketCap. I can find my cursor, type FIL here, get current data. Circulating supply is 509 million Filecoin versus 61 million right there. So if you think that Filecoin is going to get to $237, it has essentially 8 to 9 times the work to do to get back up to that point, because the circulating supply is so much higher than it was back then. So that's something that I've historically left out of analysis, but I thought today it might be good to present it. If you're trying to plan your upcoming altcoin picks, unless you're already fully allocated, if you're still looking to DCA in the next month or two before the halving, this is something to definitely look at. So on that chart again, if Filecoin has 8 times the work to get, then essentially to get back up to $238, there's going to have to be a ton of buying interest. In actuality, the all-time high in comparison to now would be like 1/8 of what it was before, right? So if we go down to like 80% off, you're looking at like a $40 Filecoin here, right? So maybe things go much higher than $40. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of capital flowing into the market this cycle, but these things are really hard to tell. Will Filecoin get back to its all-time high? I don't know, but if it does, it's an incredible gain. But we also have to be realistic about these things. If there's 8 times as many tokens available and people aren't holding them right now, where are the people at that are just going to scoop all these things up and send it back to all-time highs? Something to consider. That's typically why newer tokens that are in price discovery that have not seen a bull cycle perform the best in the cycle where they're released. So a good example of that would be Celestia. We've talked about Celestia on this channel several times. And if we go down and pull that up on the chart, find the ticker here is TIA. We got it right here. Celestia has no data. It's a new token, so nobody knows what the previous all-time high was. Nobody knows what the real potential of it is. The inherent value is the belief that people have in Celestia. So there's not even enough data here for indicators, right? If we go to the daily chart though, we can see a very beautiful uptrend that is not broken yet. It looks like it might want to curve over, but it hasn't yet. Tokens like this that have a big narrative and hype behind them that don't have the historical data or the historical previous bull run high, these are the tokens that generally have exponential gains, more so because people really don't know what kind of TA to do on them. So keep that in mind if you're looking at something like Filecoin or something like Celestia. They're very different animals. And finally, I'd be remiss if I didn't give a Bitcoin update here at the end as far as what I'm looking at. Obviously, my previous thesis was that Bitcoin would not go above its 618, at least on a daily closing basis, and it has done that. Now, in previous cycles, in 2019 specifically, Bitcoin did run up to the 6.5, which currently sits at $40,247, and it rejected very harshly off of that. There was never a daily close within the golden pocket as there has been in this cycle. Now, I had mentioned on Twitter, and I said, hey, if Bitcoin rejects hard from this 50,247 area and has a wick back down and starts to correct, then I would say that we still have a chance at the SR flip, the support resistance flip here at the 32K area. But right now, things are really not looking good for that kind of price action, specifically because we are already above 50,247, and Bitcoin actually came back to test this 48,500 area on a 4-hour chart and held it. So right now, I don't know if this is a massive bull trap or if things really are just different this time. But right now, it's looking like this is going to be a very bullish cycle and potentially a faster than normal cycle, which is not necessarily a good thing, because the faster that something goes up, the faster and harder it goes down. So right now, I just can't see buying into an RSI level like this. Every fiber of my being wants to start piling in with the rest of my dry powder, but it just doesn't make sense. What goes up must come down at some point. And if you look right here, from this high and this high and this high, we can draw a line right there. And then we go down to just a simple RSI, right? We have 1, 2, 3 drives of bearish divergence on that. The first one is a clear bearish divergence with a lower RSI peak. And the third high here is more like a medium hidden bearish divergence with a flat. But in either way, it's a total bearish divergent move on a weekly chart. But the other thing to go along with that is if we pull up the 5-day and add in the BBWP and some other indicators, let's just throw the lot of things on here. All right, we got it all on there now. Now, the BBWP on this 5-day chart is one of the best indicators to determine overall market volatility. And typically when it crosses up the 15 area, crosses up its signal indicator and crosses up the 15 area, the direction of the stochastic oscillator will follow the BBWP expansion. Now, I don't have the stochastic on here right now, but the stochastic is clearly pointed to the upside. So generally the direction of the stochastic will match the expansion on this BBWP on the 5-day. So that's there as well, despite this hidden bearish divergence that we're forming or are currently in. It's one of the craziest things that I've ever seen personally in trading and TA, and I'm not sure what's going to happen. It really looks like the beginning of the bull market, but for something to go up for almost an entire year without a meaningful correction, over 20%, it's hard for me to buy into that. So right now, I'm really just looking for a weekly break. I think if Bitcoin might find a line in the sand, if Bitcoin can close a weekly candle above that 50,247 area, I'm probably going to be convinced that my buying opportunities are going to be more shallow and there's not going to be big dips. I can't imagine a bull trap of this magnitude, but this is going to be a market right now where before the halving, we really need to be flexible and really come up with a plan. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, leave me a comment below. All of your interactions really help me out and I really appreciate them. It's going to help my channel grow. And in the meantime, safe trading. We'll see you in the next video.